Hold on for a second. What's up, YouTube family? I would like you guys to make sure you like and subscribe to our video. It would help us get into the algorithms so we could be seen and bring more engaging content to you guys. So like I said, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Appreciate you. Welcome to another edition of the Pick and Downs podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and P-Bush. How you fellas doing?
Well, man, it is that time, man. We've been talking about it for months now. I know I've been ready since like damn near Memorial Day, but I shouldn't say that. Since the NBA Finals were over after that, that Pacers damn near Cinderella story. But man, it's here. Zoo and I got our draft tonight, man. I got another one running at the same time. Going to be phoning and computering at the same time. If anyone else has done that, you know the struggle. But hey, you got to do what you got to do, man. And we got NFL next week, man. This summer has flown by. I don't know about you guys, but I can't believe it's already Labor Day this coming weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Like August is over in a couple days. I'm just like, holy moly! Like September, Labor Day's on the horizon. Might have to go to ESPN app and get the Red Zone package of the new deal. You gotta see how that package lays out. $30 a month. I don't know. There's an add-on on top of that. Got to see what that's all about. But might be able getting that for the football season. But I'm excited. Yesterday had an intense draft, 12-man draft.
On the turn.
Yeah. On the turn, it was a later pick. I feel okay about the team. I don't love the team. I feel okay. I might have to make some trades in a couple of weeks.
Of course.
In a couple of weeks, but I like some of the later receivers I got. I like the receiver value this year. Like the receiver value is beautiful.
That's where it is.
It is beautiful. Yeah. RBs later, it's hard. It's all I gotta say. It's tough to get RBs late, but it's exciting. Yep. The draft season has officially started.
Yeah, man. Real quick, I know we were talking about NFL, but I just want to give a quick shout out to college football and its fans. I kind of feel like this happens. I don't know if I think it's happened with the NFL, but, I think YouTube TV is having a dispute with a couple, providers or whatnot. Fox. And it's, Fox. And
I got the notification.
Could potentially affect one of the biggest games of the year in week 1, which is Ohio State and Texas. So let's just put out a prayer into the universe for college football fans because the thing about college football in week 1, it's kind of like the NFL where it's more of a marathon. It's the start of a marathon with college football. It's like right in your face and they're starting with a massive game like that. So it's just like, Fox, YouTube, let's just figure it out, man. Because I would hate if I was a true fan of those fan bases and now I got to, search crack streams or something to try to find a game. That's unbelievable. What are we doing? And it's like, I get it. From the business side, I understand it, but it's just like as a fan, it's like, God, I just couldn't imagine like my fandom of a team just being in the hands of, contract holders and all that crap. So hopefully they figure that out because that's a massive game that's going to probably shift and shape a lot of the narratives for the Big Ten and the SEC. So I hope they figure that out. But this is a podcast that is going to be focusing on the NFL. We kind of went through both of the divisions, and now we want to kind of get into the awards. So starting off with the NFL MVP, P-Bush, who are you eyeing for that?
Man, this was a big controversy last year. I know we had a couple heated discussions about
we saw who got the trophy, man. We saw who got the trophy.
I know, but it ain't going to be him again this year. Let me tell you, it's going to be Lamar Jackson. I'm putting money on Lamar. The only other guy I'm thinking about too is your boy Mahomes, man. I think he has a good bounce back year. Been coming around. I know I did not pick them to win the division. I'm still standing by that. I think the Broncos are a strong team. But at the same time, that doesn't mean Mahomes can't have another historic season, especially Zoo and Sean. If you get the last 2 seasons have been abysmal for his historical.
Yep.
I think if he even improves 25% in his respective categories from the last 2 seasons, I think the NFL is just going to be like, oh, he's back. We're going to give it to him. Like that's why I'm putting him in contention for this award. But, I do think that there are some voters who either voted for Lamar last year or maybe some, I don't want to say buyer's remorse with Josh Allen, but, I think they would get tired of voting for him again. And I don't see Lamar dropping off in production efficiency as much this year. Once again, regular season award, gentlemen. This is the regular season award, and he is one of the kings of the regular season in the last 5 to 6 years. So I'm putting my money on him. I think the Ravens did not have too much turnover year over year. I think you could talk about the DeAndre Hopkins edition. I'm actually more excited to see what Rashad Bateman can do in this offense. Curious to see what he does. Maybe taking another step this year. He had a great touchdown performance last year on only like 40, 45 catches or something with nine tutties. But Derrick Henry, and I think their little secret weapon, man, is a guy they did not have last year in Keaton Mitchell. That gives Lamar a complete other outlet. And it spells Derrick Henry, which will only then help Lamar Jackson in this passing offense when you have a fresh Derrick Henry coming out on almost every damn play. So I think this Ravens team is super strong. You can look at their division and say, yeah, they have a pretty easy path. Wins always help when it comes to the MVP conversation. But I do think the fact that they gave it to Josh Allen last year, I think they give it to Lamar.
A little makeup call.
Mm-hmm. I like the psychological aspect because this entire award is related to psychological. Because last year, Lamar Jackson on paper, if you look at the numbers, great numbers, all-time numbers.
Yeah,
some shocking numbers. I was like, oh yeah, those are some good numbers. But remember those playoff appearances? Like it lingers in the voters' head, and it got into their head, and it kind of happened again in the playoffs. So they couldn't vote for the guy that keeps wetting the bed in the playoffs. Like that's just a psychological thing that they couldn't overcome, and he kind of lived up to it because when they played in the playoffs, what happened in the first half? He wet the bed. Second half, he played extremely well, and he came back. So I got to give him props for that. But you got to show up in the first half. So I feel like that thought of him in the playoffs, he's not MVP, but he's an okay player. And first half he was god awful. Second half he was really, really good. So he was like an okay player in the playoffs. But you got to be able to show up in the big moments, like a little hard in him, and that happened a little too much for a guy that good. Because based on his on-paper numbers last year, if you gave him the trophy, I couldn't complain at all. But the narrative of Josh Allen carrying his roster with a James Cook and no name receivers, like he didn't have a single name receiver that was even decent. Like Khalil Shakir was his receiver one, and leading that to be a top 5 offense. There's not many guys in the NFL that could do that outside of Josh Allen. Yeah. And Josh Allen got the award last year. He was my pick last year, so thank you for cashing in that future from me. But this year, it's a lot tougher for me this year because for me, obviously, this is a quarterback award. And it's an elite quarterback award, and everybody knows the elite quarterbacks. There's no hidden guys. Josh Allen, Lamar, Joe, Pat Mahomes, and I'm going to throw in a Jaden Daniels as an elite after last year, but you got to prove it again to maintain that eliteness. But it's going to be one of those 5 guys. I don't see like a Hurts like sneaking in, or even a Herbert or a Jordan Love Baker. No, those guys ain't elite.
Caleb.
Oh,
okay. I'm just kidding. I'm
checking the temperature. I get
it. Okay, a little plus 2,500. Throw a little down. See what happens.
Throw $2 on it, you know.
Throw a little dollars over there. But like, I'm just focusing on the elite quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So through this process of elimination, I'm looking at Joey B. Obviously, last year on paper, statistically, he had one of his best passing seasons ever. Like him and Jamar Chase were ungodly. The problem is the defense, and nothing's changed with the defense. So this award, you also need team wins. And on paper, are they going to get their double-digit wins that you need to get the MVP award? I love Joey B. He's a playoff guy. He's a regular season guy. He's a complete player. But based on his roster's not good enough on the defensive side of the field. So I got to, just based off of that, I got to rule out Joe Burrow. Your thing about Josh Allen going back-to-back, I kind of have to agree with you. I am a huge Josh guy. Outside of Mahomes, I'm just a huge Josh Allen fan. This guy wins on the field and off the field, man. He's getting dubs all over the field. So, like, Josh Allen just seems like a likable dude. And this guy is a special player and a special runner of a football where I haven't seen a guy this, like, big and strong move like that. Like, he's not the fastest guy, but he somehow is able to rip 10 to 20, 30-yard runs for a guy that big and that strong. Like Lamar is more of he's like a slimmer guy. He's fast. Josh Allen's big and burly, but he still gets rushing yards. So what he does is impressive. But going back to back, as you mentioned, like to go back to back, you need an
virtuoso season.
Yeah, virtuoso season. That's what's gonna like back to back. That's like he didn't win the championship last year. They're not gonna give him back to back based on the voters. They're like, we want to see you get it done in the playoffs too. Like you keep making it, keep losing to Mahomes. We want to see you win it all. So I feel like voters are going to hold that against him, even though I don't really hold it against him because he always plays well, but he just loses to a better team on that day. So I got to cross off Josh Allen. So I'm down to Mahomes, Daniels, and Lamar Jackson. And I'm looking at these 3. I'm like, it's a tough choice right now because, You know me, like Lamar, like I just never been the biggest Lamar guy just because of the playoff performances. But in the regular season, there's nothing to deny. There's nothing to deny because sometimes in the regular season, his passing, he had some historically great season. He had like a 36 touchdown passing season. He had he's done historical 40 plus touchdown seasons in the regular season with single digit interceptions. Can he do that again? Absolutely. Because look at the roster, it's the same exact
same thing.
Like you add in a DeAndre Hopkins, same returning receiver, same running back, the same system. Like, what's the change? Not much change. Like, everyone's a year older, and that's pretty much the only change out of that. So, can he repeat what he did last year? Historically great, maybe, but I'm not going to bet on him repeating that historically great season. Because if he did repeat that season last year, 100% I would go with Lamar Jackson winning the MVP. So now I'm down to two. Mahomes versus the young buck Jaden Daniels. And Mahomes has been, as you mentioned, pretty mediocre in the last two regular seasons. Like, surprisingly bad. Like, even on the borderline average. And last year, he had some games where he was just god awful, like missing passes and like head shaking, like, what's that pick? Like, what are you doing? Like, because going from throwing 50 touchdowns and throwing 40 touchdowns, like, he's been kind of mediocre the last two regular seasons. And this aerial assault game with Xavier Worthy and older Kelsey, congrats to Kelsey. But my God, like, I'm looking at this roster. I'm just like, Rashee Rice has his issues off the field, as you know. Like, this guy might be in jail for a couple weeks, but who knows what happens to him. So I'm looking at the weapons, and it's all about Xavier Worthy as a receiver one. Do I believe in Xavier Worthy as a receiver one? I don't think so. So I'm going with an outlier pick this year. Usually I'm putting a little on Jaden Daniels as MVP based on that. Just based on this process of elimination. Because I give Jaden Daniels as good of a chance as any of those other guys. And a lot of it is based on the NFC. In the NFC, you have an ability to win above average amount of games of the relative team skill set. So you can win extra games just because you're in a conference a little weaker. And I think all it's going to take is 10 wins, 11 wins to win MVP.
They could be the third best team in their division this year.
I know. Oh, I know. But I think you can still win the MVP if you're in that situation, just based on the situation around him and him turning on that franchise. You look what happened to that Commanders franchise, especially last year. Last year, you could have made a legitimate conversation that this guy was the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
You can make a legitimate conversation. I give it to you. This is definitely a longer shot relative to your Lamar pick because I think they're safer based on the number of wins. Like, they're going to get the number of wins. And a lot of that's the cutoff. But if Jaden Daniels, I think even just 10 wins, if he puts up astronomical numbers in a weaker conference with his weapon back, Terry McLaurin, he got his back. Shout out to Terry.
Yeah.
Terry, he was able to get his $32 million. He didn't get the DK 33, but 32 is still nice. No one's going to play about $32 million over 3 years. Over 3 years to $90+ million. I feel like he has a terrific opportunity this year to be okay. Because on paper, the team I don't think is that great.
Right.
But in that conference, he could take advantage of the weaker conference and get it done. Because I think everyone agrees the AFC is strong.
Yeah, of course.
Substantially. Especially QB talent, even like Cam Wardle. Like, they keep adding additional QB talent. And I'm looking at the NFC, there's just a lot of question marks.
But then wouldn't you say if him and Lamar have similar seasons, right? Let's just say they have very similar seasons. But the Ravens finish with 12 wins and the Commanders finish with 11. I'm more impressed by the Ravens and Lamar because of who they had to play and who he had to do it against all year. So I would automatically give it to him. He would have to really outperform Lamar.
Might be voter fatigue with Lamar, though.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Fair.
The voter fatigue with the
Which is
playoff.
why they go back to Mahomes.
Because of the last playoff.
Yeah.
Mahomes, he could do it this year. Like, he's my second in my voting.
I'm putting money on him if I'm going to do it.
He's second in my voting right now. But I think the voter fatigue with the playoff appearance from last year and the last moment we saw Jaden Daniels was him playing special in the playoffs. Just absolutely special against the eventual champions. I feel like the thing is he just needs to get to 11 wins. Like, that's going to be really, really hard because the over-under on Vegas is not in his favor. But I feel like there is a path for them to get 11 wins based on the conference they're in, led by Jaden Daniels. And nah, this is my guy this year. I'm going with
Wow.
Jaden Daniels as MVP.
I respect that.
Mhm.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, like I mean,
Long
if
shot.
you just look at his stats and also the eye test of just how he came in as a rookie and was destroying people or teams. But like if he ticks it up, he was 35-68 last year. If he ticks it up to like 4K and he gets at least like 32 touchdowns and keeps the INTs kind of low, which he's only at 9. Last year he rushed for like 91 yards. So maybe he gets to like 600. There's a real possibility if they, I think because of Zoo's point about the narrative, I think coming off of last year, what he did and kind of now, if he's in those numbers with passing and rushing, I'm assuming there's no sophomore slump, and I'm assuming the team's doing pretty well. So it's kind of like now we start getting into the process of like, okay, he's not just top 6, 7-ish, whatever. He's now being considered a elite guy. He's cemented in there. Because like I always say about these quarterbacks, is like, of course, Josh and Mahomes and Lamar, all those guys, like Joe, all those guys, they've had several seasons of being great. So that's why they're considered great and they're considered top tier. But it's like Jaden, if he were to do that and get into the playoffs, and then who knows, like if he would get on it close to like a Super Bowl, which would just be unheard of. Yeah, I think the narrative would be, oh, this is just not a good quarterback or a great quarterback. This is I always love to use the word pantheon. He's on that track. So then, yeah, I think the votes would go to him because it's something new. Because this is very similar to any guy or one single guy that's in any sport. It's when you're the new rookie or the second year guy, like you kind of you're playing with house money. Like, and I'm not saying Jaden is, but it's like once you get that first year, if you're like a rookie and really good and you just get to the playoffs and maybe you get knocked, it's kind of like what Anthony Edwards went through. It's like he got to the whatever conference finals early. So it's like, yeah, we all know he's still great, but he kind of that's bought him a little bit of time. Now pressure may come on the next couple of years, but still, I think I could see a momentum shift there. It's just going to be tough because I do agree, like that division, you could make an argument they could be third. And just talent wise, I mean, they're battling with who? Dallas. I mean, the Giants, I guess, is the least talented team. Because I still think Dallas has guys on. I mean, assuming Micah gets signed, but I'm not mad at the Jaden pick because it could be just that rookie year is just unheard of. That's just not normal. So It's just hard for me to see how him just like falling down. And I know they've been bad during the preseason, but whatever. But I'm kind of looking at Joe Burrow as that last year is kind of an outlier, but not really because Jamar's not really in his prime yet, or he's getting close to it. And T. Higgins got re-signed, so he's gonna have the weaponry. And he has Chase Brown, who I think can take a little bit of a step. So I think just stat-wise, he'll be able to put it up. And I'm just gonna be blindly optimistic of the defense just being average. Like they did get Trey Hendrickson I guess he got an increase for a year or something like that. So he'll be there. I think the linebackers that they drafted are going to be a plug and play. They'll be able to play. And I don't know who they have in their secondary, but I think they'll be good enough. I think the defense will be average to where there's a possibility he at least gets to 10. And again, with the narratives, like Joe Burrow has a lot of aura around him. And I think a lot of people like him. And I think the narrative will start getting loud for him of like, wait a minute, this is one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen. He doesn't have an MVP. Like I kind of felt like it was like that with Josh. It's like I think a lot of it was, a lot of people would argue Lamar should have won last year, but I think voters also with the Lamar fatigue was like, we can't because in football things happen so fast. So like we don't know if these guys could get injured, they could fall off a cliff in terms of talent, whatever. I think the voters like we got to get him one because he can't just be this great player and not get one. And I think Joe Burrow, even though he's been to a Super Bowl, it's like Joe's got to get one. So I think if Joe gets to 10, 11 and he's putting up, he don't have to put up what he did last year because those numbers are pretty absurd. But if he gets close to it, yeah, I think it's a real possibility they vote him in there because then now we're talking about Joe Burrow in the playoffs and that things will be aligning and him trying to go against Mahomes and trying to match up again, get a rematch. But cigars. I think that's a real possibility. They just gotta I'm just begging the defense. Just be average. If you're average, Joe will get MVP. Right. But if they're like last year, yeah, dude, like you're right. They're not because if he's at 8-9 wins, you can't justify it. It's too many good players, too many good quarterbacks. So it's not happening. But I believe the defense will be a little bit better. And I think this is a super long shot, but what if Hurts takes like a little bit of a step? Like, I'm not saying he's going to be throwing it 40 times a game because they don't win that way. But let's just say he stays, and I know the stats don't back me up on this, but if he stays in that 25 pound, because I do think there is this confidence within Jalen where I know who the guys we were just talking about, like they're elite, but like I said, I think a while back, I think when we were talking about Jalen when he won the Super Bowl, it's like when he walks in a room, like he's been to 2 Super Bowls and he's won one, and like I said, I don't think the guys that like play the game how we talk as fans, like, well, you got all this help. They just look at the heart. They're very black and white. They're just like, oh, like you kind of got to defer to Jalen a little bit because he's been there twice and he's won. And he's been, and like you said, and 2, Jalen, like if I'm Jalen and I'm walking in the room, like they can say I got all this help, but it's like, brother, when I was in the Super Bowl, I balled. Like I didn't just like was 10 for 17 and was a pick and, no, like I was balling. And I would be looking Mahomes eye to eye, be like, brother, I know you're a Pantheon great, but I'm on you. And I honest to God, this is not going to be my Super Bowl pick, but I almost want to see the Eagles and Chiefs again, because if Jalen were to get him again, boy, obviously Mahomes is greater, but that's like kind of a bugaboo of like, that would be weird. But I think if he were to just maybe be in that 25 attempt, because he's got to get the attempts and the stats, and that's the thing that kind of kills this argument because he's not going to get the stats. But if now because they won the Super Bowl, they're just like, screw it, we're going to try to make Jalen a passer versus just sticking to the formula and winning games, and like Sirianni opens it up. There's a possibility because he's got the talent like Joe Burrow. He's got way better talent than Joe Burrow, and I don't think Saquon's going to repeat the year. He's going to have a good year, but I don't think he repeats it. So maybe that's more opportunity for Jalen to shine, but that's a super long shot. I'm trying to think of guys. It's like, what are your skill talent around it? And I think you can maybe make a step, because I don't like Brock. I don't see it. Dak, that ship is sailed. I mean, and there's no guys like, I feel like the younger guys are still early in their career where I don't know. Like I got to see it.
I got to see it. Second year. He's going to. I know he did it once before.
I think a lot of the Caleb hype is just because of Ben Johnson. So
sure, of course.
Could he explode? Yeah, he could explode.
Jaden, I think because he did so well his first year, the expectations are there, and so if he doesn't hit everything like he did last year to the nose or improve, they can't say you're the MVP because you did it last year and you can't replicate it. I mean, I get it. He's still young and I understand, but I think he's too young to get it as well. I think that's my point.
If he got close, I don't think he has to replicate. He just has to get close.
He could be top 3 in voting. I could see that easily, but I know it's a long shot. I'm not saying.
And his path to list, I don't know their schedule, but I mean, they are in the NFC. So he's not, if he continues, like he's not going against a lot of other dogs.
What are outlier MVPs in NFL history? I would love to know that. Like, where were they in preseason odds? Yeah. And it would have to be such an anomaly. I don't know, but I'd be curious to see what that is, because that would be him for sure if he won this year.
Yeah, if I'm picking a young guy, he would be because it's just natural. But this league does a really good job of humbling a lot of like one, and that's not one hit wonder because obviously he's good, but it's like this league has a really good way to figure you out. So the chances of it happening is whatever, but it's kind of like, I just think if he just gets kind of, because that's like the same thing with Mahomes. It's like he's more about winning. So it's like, I think he did it perfect. It's like he got first starters. He just stats, and it shows. I show how good I am. And then I get into a space. Now I want to win my rings. Now I've won my rings, and now it's just kind of like, I can just. He'll never say this, but it's like, I'm just yawning through the regular season. Like, it's 16-10, fourth quarter. All right, let me get Kelsey on a couple little dig routes. Let me whatever.
It's easy for him.
Pacheco. It's like he's just chilling. And I get his mentality. Like if I'm Mahomes, because I got my butt kicked in the Super Bowl, I may want to kick it up. I understand that because he's competitive as hell. So I do get that this year. But it's like, I'm not mad if Mahomes is still chilling, because I think his bigger goal is like and this is probably super disrespectful, but he's not really looking at the guys in the league as like his peers. He's looking at
legacy.
Brady. Yeah, his legacy. He's looking at Brady and all this stuff. And too, like I said, I think a couple pods ago, Bill's coming up due. Like that contract's getting ripped up soon. Like there's too many guys that's getting paid way more than Mahomes. They're just like, oh yeah, I'm still sticking with this 12-year plan. Like, no, we're ripping that up, Mr. Hunt, whatever his name is. Like, we're ripping it up. And so like that may affect the roster. So I think he kind of knows whatever, but yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of, it is like historically it's going to be those top 5.
So historically, I just quickly look at the past MVPs, and as you know, it's usually the historically great quarterbacks. I'm going
like Warner
since 2000. I'm going from since 2007 because not gonna lie, in the early 2000s there were some RBs that won because the way the game.
Terrell Davis,
LT, Sean Alexander. It was just a different
rightfully
time.
so.
I forgot about Sean Alexander.
Those were the different time. Outside of Adrian Peterson, that one outlier 2K year where he broke everything. It's been dominated by the obvious Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and then I would say the two outlier type guys that won it, Matt Ryan, that one year in 2016 when he led this team to the Super Bowl, and Cam Newton, the year he led his team to the Super Bowl.
In his fourth year?
2015. So
fourth or fifth year,
yeah, exactly. So those are the two ones where it's like not as the obvious consensus first ballot Hall of Famers, because I think Josh and like Lamar and Patrick, those are the consensus first ballot Hall of Fame type of dudes that are going to win all the MVP awards. So Jaden Daniels, he might just be that one hit wonder with a Cam Newton, or he have to put himself as, I'm going to be one of these pantheon quarterbacks. Because that's what it takes to win MVPs. Like I'm so shocked Matt Ryan had that year and still led his team.
That was his Burrow and Chase year.
Him
and Julio.
That I don't even know how he did it.
Fast track.
You want to know who his OC was?
Tom Brady.
Who was his OC? Kyle Shanahan. Right before he went to the Niners. Yep. That's why.
God, that's so crazy. Like. And I know Matt, because if you look at his style of quarterbacks that he's had since after Matt, they're not like Matt. Like even Jimmy G, when he had him, Jimmy G was an athlete. Like he was a decent athlete. So I don't know. It's just, and Shanahan, he's a merchant. I feel like Brock Purdy's safe, because if Brock Purdy they didn't draft him or whatever, and I don't even want to give him credit for that. He could have been. Because I don't know where they would have been. Because Trey Lance, I know Harbaugh's got him looking decent, but I don't know, man. And like I said, it's hard to get a quarterback, so who knows? But yeah, man, MVPs are usually won by the guys who are the top of the tops in the league. So we'll see how that shakes out. Shifting to the rookies that we got going on, sometimes with this position and award, there's a lot of variety. Zoo, I wonder where you're leaning. I kind of maybe have an idea, but let's go ahead and hear where you're leaning on this.
I do have a guy who I love in fantasy and in real life, and he's a contender. Emeka Egbuka is a guy that I've been talking about a lot this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't think that one, but
no. I'm not picking him.
I thought of him too, but
I thought of him because just fantasy wise, and I think he's going to have a 1,000-yard season in his first year, just based on the situation. I'm going with Cam Ward, the most slept on QB. One overall guy. Pick. Like no one talks about this guy.
No, I
feel like Shedeur Sanders gets more media time than Cam Ward, the first overall.
Dylan Gabriel too. Like I've heard more about those two.
Cleveland Browns backup quarterbacks on national television than the number one overall guy, and all I hear about him is he's extremely mature. He's like shows leadership, and he showed a little something, just a little. Him and Calvin really have really good chemistry. That's probably going to be his go-to guy in a Tennessee Titans, and right now he's in a situation where if that Titans team just add a couple more wins, just 7 wins, like if they're a 7-8 win team, just strictly off quarterback, because outside of that, they didn't really make any substantial additions.
Right.
Like it's just a number one overall pick and some immaterial signings in the offseason. So like if you're looking at him right now, like he's in position, he's in that Jaden Daniels position to get it done. But you can either do the Jaden Daniels last year or do the Caleb Williams. Like those are the two paths forward right now. And in that situation, Tennessee Titans, they did show a little something. Even with Tannehill, they were actually a kind of productive team. Like those Tannehill teams on the Titans, like I wouldn't consider them one of the garbage franchises out there. I wouldn't consider them. They're not a great franchise.
They're average.
They're just they're an average franchise. So you're putting them in a situation where if you look at his weapons, it's kind of interesting. Because Calvin Ridley this year, this is a 1,000-yard guy, and he's always. I feel like with this year, I think he might be able to have his career high season with a guy in Cam Ward, where relatively in the last couple of years he's been playing with guys that are not been even above average quarterbacks. So you put him in a rookie quarterback and build that chemistry. Tony Pollard, we always say Tony Pollard. He's an all right running back. That situation room right there. So All I'm asking is to have an average. Just give me 8 wins. Give me 8 wins, and his over-under passing yards kind of low. It's around 3,300. I think he's easily going to smash that this year. Because just the lack of media coverage of this guy, it is shocking because he was the consensus number 1 overall picks. And if you look at the historic consensus number 1 overall picks, usually in the rookie season, they play relatively well, even with these high expectations. You got a guy like Kyler Murray who hasn't had like the greatest career. His rookie year was awesome.
Right.
So if you look at number 1, exactly. So if you're looking at the number 1 overall selection, and in this draft, like he was consensus number 1 overall, and was even close. It wasn't even a discussion for a second quarterback in this draft. In that situation, in a division's a little weaker, so you might be able to snipe some wins where you get to play a Danny Dimes, and maybe T-Law hasn't bounced back fully, and CJ Stroud's a good quarterback, but outside of that, like you're looking at a division that's pretty vulnerable where you could sneak a couple of wins right now, and I feel like with that narrative at the QB1 position, he could be like, oh, shocks the media folks be like, whoa, I didn't know Cam Ward's that good because you haven't been covering this guy.
Right.
And it's the Tennessee Titans, a small market team. So I feel like he's in a great position. He's in a great position to be like, wow, he throws that deep pass to Calvin Ridley for that 70-yard bomb. Be like, oh, wow, the Tennessee Titans got the quarterback now.
Yeah, it's going to be the first tweet.
And exactly. I'm sorry. I'm like that. And that usually happens with these number 1 overall pick quarterbacks. You hit more than you miss for with those number 1 overall consistent quarterbacks. So Cam Ward for me is the pick of taking that rookie of the year.
I like that pick. You know what's funny, Zoo? I didn't even really consider him that much, and that just speaks to the whole thing. I mean, I knew he's good, and I'm targeting him a lot in best ball leagues, right? Like that's kind of where I've been targeting him, but he's going undrafted in most, redraft formats.
Yep.
It's interesting because you pointed to Jaden Daniels, and the funny thing is, I know they ended up having a great season. They literally took down the Lions last year.
Crazy.
But no one was like, "Ooh, the Commanders with Jaden Daniels, they might be interesting this year."
No,
right? They were kind of in the, maybe if they get 7 or 8 wins, right? He'll be in contention for. It's literally the same thing now. They're not the same player. Jaden Daniels' deep ball coming out of college was absurd. Sean, you almost fully convinced me, and I almost convinced myself that the Bears should.
I remember that. I remember that.
And I said I wouldn't be mad with it, and I said that before the draft.
Yeah, I remember that.
But we didn't expect him to have the season that he did to the level of which he also brought up the whole team, right? And to your point, if they win 3 or 4 more games, that's really all on him. And maybe the coaching, right? Look, regime change a little bit. But yeah, it is the same exact team. I also do like some of the rookie wide receivers they have with I think it's Chimza and
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, I think they have a couple good guys that could learn from Calvin Ridley too, and they'll have rookie to rookie reps, which is always huge for any quarterback coming into the league. But I'm going to go with a guy that I think is in one of the best possible systems for the position he's playing. And I think the opportunities that this man is going to get is just absurd. You talked about Igbuka. I love that pick. I also considered Tet and Travis Hunter. The quarterback situations are both
quarterbacks.
They throw me off a little bit. So I'm going to go with Omarion Hampton, man. I think he's right up there. I like his situation a lot more than Ashton Gentis, who a lot of people might lean towards just being betting favorite, being the first RB taken as well, consensus first round draft pick in fantasy, right? People weigh a lot on fantasy and they don't realize that sure, it does translate to awards, but you also have to take into account their impact on the whole team, right? Like we were talking about with the MVP discussion. So I just think I know the Najee here. Oh, he's going to be ready for week 1, man. Najee.
I did see that report,
dude. Najee Harris, man. He's just like not a sexy player at all, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns, man. Like that is his peak. That's what he will always give you. His floor is immaculate. I mean, we do have to give him credit. He might have one of the most steady floors in the last 4 years of any running back. But I do think this situation, missing a lot of training camp, does not help him going to a new team. Both of these guys are coming to a new team, right? Omarion being a rookie, Najee coming from Pittsburgh. Well, Omarion's been getting all the reps, and he's been getting a lot more of the time with the coaching staff, with Harbaugh, with Herbert. And I am a little interested to see how I wouldn't say concerned, but interested to see how they use him in the passing game, if much. But I just think his impact and the usage being in a Harbaugh offense, it primes him for I don't know, he could put up 12 to 13 touchdowns, and I don't think we would all be that shocked if he did that.
Would not be shocked.
I love that pick.
Yeah, offensive rookie of the year. Ibuka was the only one that gave me true pause, but Mike Evans' red zone dominance is what threw me away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Omarion's a great pick because also too he's just match made in heaven with Harbaugh. Because even if Najee comes back, I think they're both going to get a lot of carries, and that may take away from Hampton. But I mean, probably about week 4 or 5, it's going to be clear who the number one back should be, and I think they're gonna, I think that would be a massive. Like I'm looking at what is his, like he's like 850, so at least on what is this Vegas Insider, he's kind of got the third best odds. So I think a lot of people kind of see that too, and I think Travis Hunter's right behind him.
Yeah,
My pick's Cam Ward, and for all the things you said, I just think it's not a lot of talk, and there's a real possibility, especially in that division, that they could rack up. I don't know what their schedule lays out like, but they could rack up some early wins, maybe get some momentum. And obviously, too, I think staff writers and the people who vote on this kind of always are looking for a reason to give us a quarterback. And if I'm picking a quarterback, it's going to be Cam Ward. So I agree with Zoo on that one. If I'm taking a long shot, just looking at who's going to have a lot of opportunity and a lot of, I guess you would say positions and maybe shine in big time games, considering the team that he's going to be on is Matthew Golden. Real possibility that he could maybe be 60 catch guy, maybe get close to 1,000, maybe get like 7 or 8 touchdowns. But I think him playing for Green Bay, which is, I know it's a small market, but it's basically a glamour franchise. It's like one of the pillars of the league. And I don't know, man. I keep going back to it. How do they draft him in the first round? And Green Bay does not do that. So with LaFleur, who's super underrated, we never really talk about him as one of the, he's the up and coming guy. Like we love McVay, we love, I guess Sirianni because of his tactics. Like there's certain guys, Kevin O'Connell, I feel like he gets a lot of pub, but I think LaFleur just, he's part of that group too. I think he's really, really talented. I think people don't speak enough about Jordan Love being on the bench for as long as he was.
Yeah.
And him just coming in seamlessly and being like, that first year he was gunning and throwing touchdowns. And I still have that imprint of the Dallas game in my head. So it's like, I kind of trust what LaFleur is going to do on that side of the ball. So I don't think it's going to be as simple as, Matthew Gold is just going to be running a couple of certain routes at the X or Z or Y position, whatever. I think Matt LaFleur is going to get super creative with him. So there's a possibility. There's a possibility there. Would I bet it? I throw like $2 or $3 on it, but who knows? I think there's a real possibility he gets into a groove. And like I said, Green Bay, if they're going to spend up on a receiver, it's going to be because they're going to use him. So, and also too, I don't think there's any like target competition. Like like I said, the guys on that roster are B-. So the only thing that would maybe scare me is if they, Jordan Love gets to spreading it around, which that's not good for Matthew.
Or he gets hurt.
Yeah, or he gets hurt too.
Yeah,
because even though he played, I think I saw he played 15 games last year. He wasn't really. I don't think he was healthy the entire year.
Yeah, he missed. His quality went down just for a handful more than what was shown.
But yeah, I'm Cam Ward. It's setting up the narrative of it. It's just all this attention not being on him. It just feels like he's
got to be the betting favorite, is he?
I think it's Genty.
I think it's Genty.
Then we should all.
Yeah, it's Genty then Cam. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying, man. Genty, he's great.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I don't like their offensive line. I don't like their Jacoby Myers isn't happy now, and he wants to get traded.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're gonna stack the box, man, and just double team Brock Bowers the whole time, and then you're set, man. Like, and Gino's not gonna outrun you that much. He's a good athlete, but Genty, he might be up there. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I just don't think he's a shoe-in like people.
Yeah.
People
situation just doesn't feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I like Genty as a prospect. Marion Hampton, he fit, and I know Genty's yoked, whatever, but Marion Hampton just his style of running and his just running back size, it's just what you think of as like a prototypical running back. So I think that's why even though Genty's higher, he's right there. So I don't know. Like I said, rookies, they're very unpredictable. It's the same thing in fantasy. You just never know what you're going to get for them. So we're going to see, but wrapping up our coverage for the NFL season this year, we will now get into our Super Bowl picks. We do this every year. So, P-Bush, who are two teams that you're looking at meeting up in the Super Bowl?
I'll start with the NFC because it's a little easier. I'll start with the Eagles, man. I think I just got to give it to them. Just a quick rundown. The NFC North, I think they all beat each other up so much that they're going to be just absolutely gassed by the time a deep playoff run is possible. I will say I do think the Packers could be in contention. I think we talked about that with the division picks, right? I do think if there is one team that could battle it out, it's the team that has to battle almost every damn week after the middle of October when it's freezing up there in Green Bay. So they can also play in any environment too, which, hey, we've seen that actually affect a lot of teams in the last few years, cough, cough, Miami. But, the NFC South, none of the teams impress me for a Super Bowl run. Maybe it happens. Who the hell knows? But none of them outright impress me. NFC South, man, it's just a bunch of old dudes. I'm sorry. It just comes off that way. CMC, George Kittle, I don't think they can carry. Brock Purdy's a great player. Maybe they make the wild card. But they have so many injuries. They're pretty much duct taping everything together. That's what the season comes in at for me on the Niners side. The Rams, same thing. Who knows how Stafford's going to progress throughout the year. And then, the NFC East, sure, you want to pick the Cowboys, man, be delusional. Fine. It hasn't happened in 30 years, right? 30 years, but this is the year, guys. This is the year. 30 years. And I know you guys love Jane Daniels and all that. I'm not a Commanders believer.
No, I'm not doing. Yeah.
I don't think they make any sort of run like they did last year. Maybe they make the wild card. They could be in contention, but they're not going to be making a huge run again. It was a cute story. Let's put it that way. It was a cute story. So yeah, I got the Eagles, man. I just think Saquon Barkley. Some people are fading him completely in fantasy this year. He's going to have a great year, man, and it's going to be maybe not to the statistical level. However, for the team efficiency level and how he will bring wins to the table, Philly should, I don't want to call them a shoe-in, but they should be the easy favorite, obviously coming off the Super Bowl victory, and they should be there repeating an appearance again. And then on the AFC side, man, Jesus, this is difficult because once again, you could argue it's like, okay, what are the top 5 teams? Let me go down the list and eliminate.
Yeah, you can.
AFC South, adios. Sorry, I'm not doing that. AFC West, yeah, I like the Broncos. I just don't think I don't think Bo is there yet to make that level of a run. Maybe they do. Sean Payton's a hell of a coach, but I do think the Chiefs are obviously in contention. Just curious to see how when is this damn Rashee Rice suspension going to happen, and how will it affect the flow of that offense? Huge, right? Is Pacheco going to be healthy enough to be a true running back all year, or are you going to trust another week 13, 18 Kareem Hunt stint, right? And I do like Brashard Smith, the rookie they picked, but he's not a true running back. Same thing with Travis Kelce as well. So, Mahomes could have an MVP level season, but can they keep it going and extend it through a playoff run? I ain't picking them. I got Bills Ravens in the AFC Championship game.
Wow.
And the Bills are making it. I got the Bills, man. I think and the reason I picked those 2 teams, they have the most continuity with the least amount of drama around there, I think McDermott was always going to get that defense to play hard. I know they didn't improve their weapons that much, but I actually kind of like Keon Coleman this year. I think he could have, maybe another year with Josh Allen. Maybe they tell Josh, hey man, you don't have to do what you did last year, and just you and James Cook, playing hot potato and who wants to this time. I think maybe they expand his route tree a little bit. Obviously I like Khalil Shakir. They signed Josh Palmer. Take that for what it is. And if you're a Dalton Kincaid believer, I think that's more delusional than believing in Kyle Pitts this year. So,
wow, I don't know about that. About that.
Yeah. I think Kincaid I think he might take a little step, but I just think if I'm picking between the two, I'm taking the more athletic guy with more upside. That's for fantasy. That's for fantasy. If we're talking impact on the team, I think Kincaid could have a better season than he's had in years past. And the Ravens, I said it earlier when I was talking about Lamar, but they didn't really have any changes. They added D-Hop and Zoo. I know you, Sean, I think you might have stepped away at that moment, but I said Keaton Mitchell coming back healthy is huge for Lamar and really just huge for the team in general.
Change of pace, yeah.
Change of pace back, good check down opportunity, and it also keeps Henry fresh, right? I think that's the biggest thing. So Bills, Ravens, I got the Bills making it out, making their Super Bowl appearance, and providing the long-awaited Super Bowl win that Buffalo has been waiting for a long time. They had treacherous times in the 90s and treacherous times with Patrick Mahomes. So I'm going with the Buffalo Bills, man. Josh Allen's going to have a nice little cherry on top to a great year.
Not going to lie. If that ends like that, I ain't mad at it. I'm a huge Josh guy. If that ends like that, Buffalo, that's part of New York. New York is going to be hyped, man. New York, it might not be
Upstate
the
New York,
Giants
yeah.
fans and the Jets fans, but that'll be pretty cool for a team like Buffalo because their fans are passionate.
Oh,
Their
yeah.
fans they do a lot of cool stuff. Like, they're
They
really
do.
the definition of die-hard fans because in Buffalo, outside of being cold and winning, like, what else is up there? Like, what
Wings.
else is up? Yeah.
And Niagara Falls.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
Toronto, that's about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You're talking about Canada, not Buffalo.
Yeah, yeah.
You're talking about they're relatively close to other
Yeah.
places in Canada. So for Buffalo, this is their everything. This is their whole world. Their life revolves around the Bills. So I wouldn't be mad at the Bills getting it done this year because we like some new stories out there for some new players to get some hardware. But as you mentioned, let's start with the AFC because the AFC is a beautiful place where every year I call it the Kansas City Invitational. And it's going to continue to be the Kansas City Invitational, man. This is my favorite bet, man.
I never saw it coming.
Yeah. The Kansas, I'm telling you, they might not win the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah.
They might not even win the AFC Championship game. But one thing I do know is every single year Mahomes has been a starter, they have at least made it to the AFC Championship game. That is just fact. That is just history. I don't think anything too significant has happened. Andy Reid is still there. Kelsey might be in his last year, but he's still there. Mahomes is healthy. He's still there. So based on that, I'm putting him just in the AFC Championship game. The team that they're playing against. You know my thing. I'm fading Lamar again in the playoffs because he got to prove it to me. Just show me once, man. Yep. I believe the regular season hype. I don't believe the playoff hype. And the guy that I've always kept saying that shows up in the playoffs is Josh Allen. So I got Joshy. This is not even a trilogy anymore, man. This is like we're on the trilogy part.
Getting into Star Wars, man. It's Star
pretty
Wars.
Much. We're at Star Wars, A New Hope. We're at Phantom Menace now. So they're going to play again, and I hope it's as epic as the previous trilogy because every single one of those playoff games went down to a single possession and went down to one throw, a 1 3rd down, 1 4th down. So I'm getting every matchup that everybody wants. I know the Ravens fans, they want to be in there, but we saw what happened when Joshy dismantled the Baltimore Rams last year. So we're going to have that. I'm not going to pick the winner between that right now. But that's for me, AFC, for me, that's kind of locked up in mine. And NFC, as you mentioned, I'm just the Eagles is a team that continuity, same exact roster. Is there a reason to bet against them outside of they won it all and having championship fatigue? No, I'm going the Eagles to make it back to the NFC Championship game. That's the easy one, just to make it back. I'm not saying they're going to win it yet. But the other team, oh my Lord, the NFC, man, it baffles my mind because you know my thoughts about Jared Goff, 0% chance. Just 0. Write them off right there. Yeah. Jared Goff. I'm looking at NFC South, garbage. I love Baker Mayfield had a redemption in his career, but leading his team to the NFC Championship, I don't have that on his resume in this year. NFC West, Matthew Stafford back.
Yep.
CMC
Otherwise, I would have picked the Rams.
CMC knees. Like you're talking about a team where no Brandon Ayuk. You got Jawan Jennings coming in hampered. Ricky Pearsall is their number one receiver. Brock Purdy got paid. So you're looking at all this stuff. I'm 49ers got the pedigree. They got the coach. Brock Purdy has shown he could actually lead a team to a Super Bowl. But do I have him with all these circumstances? I can't do it. I can't pick the 49ers. I cannot pick the 49ers right now. So the Los Angeles Rams, a team with the back, I don't even know because Matthew Stafford says he's fine. He's it's just I could just play through it. It's not gonna bother me.
That's the epidural talking.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Like some mornings I wake up, my back hurts a little. It's hard to play football, man. Even a little back pain can immobilize you for the entire day. So when you say a little back pain, no big deal. No, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's just seeing how you can play through that. So that gives me an eyebrow raise right there. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm down to few teams now. Because in that NFC North, no Vikings, no Bears, obviously, no Lions. The homerism wants me to pick the Green Bay Packers. The homerism. The homerism in me. I'm is there a reason not to be a homer? The New York Giants? Please. Unless Jackson Dart is the second coming. No, thank you. Dallas Cowboys, that defense and that drama off the field. And even Jerry Jones talking in interviews look at everybody talking about it. We're in the headlines.
That's all he cares about. That's all he cares about.
Exactly. All he cares about is the money and the media attention and the drama. The Dallas Cowboys real life drama show. So that's cute for your money, Jerry, but not good for championships. So written off. The Commanders, I already had a cute story picking Jaden Daniels as MVP. That's just me just trying to foresee something. So I can't have them also in there again in a rematch. So I'm being a homer. I'm picking the Green Bay Packers.
Let's go.
And the Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
A little revenge battle, if you know what I mean. Because last year we all saw what happened. We saw what happened. An ass whooping. I was watching. I was like, oh my God, they don't even belong on the same field. They don't even belong on the same field right now. As you know, J-Lo was a little injured, man. Jordan Love was a little injured. He was a little hampered. And hopefully he got some medicine in him, and hopefully the doctors have taken care of him this year because he's going to need it against that team over there because that team is hellaciously talented and pretty much you're undermanned on all aspects, I feel. On all aspects. So, am I going to be a homer?
No.
Fuck it, I'm going to be a homer, man.
Let's go. I knew it.
I'm going to be a homer.
Yeah, I knew it.
Hold it. I'm thinking, I want it. I want to believe. The last time I believed was Aaron Rodgers, and now he's in the Jets, and now he's in Mike Tomlin's team. Please, Jordan Love, stay healthy. Offensive line, protect this man. We got a wide receiver one. Hopefully, elevate him. Hopefully, he could take that next step. He's at that step. He's a cute, nice, young quarterback. He hasn't taken that step where, okay, this guy is an elite top. I don't even say top, just top 6 quarterback consensus. He is not in that conversation yet.
No.
But I feel like a potential receiver one could unlock him. Just unlock him. Spread his wings right now. Be the Stephon Diggs for the Josh Allen. Just be that immobilizer that unlocks your game because Jordan Love has not unlocked his game at that level yet. Like he showed some glimpses in a playoff series a couple of years ago, but I need some more consistency in the regular season. So my homerism takes the Packers. My homerism. Now, do I want my homerism to take again?
Man, you ain't from Kansas City.
Yeah, I know, but they won me some money. But last year they lost me a lot of money. So screw them. Buffalo Bills. Homerism. I am in New York. Buffalo Bills. Green Bay Packers. Buffalo Bills. Green Bay Packers.
2 passionate fan bases.
2 passionate fan bases. I think that would be a terrific game. But I think it's Josh Allen to get the crown. I have to agree with you. I think it's time to. He keeps knocking on the door. He's like the Boston Celtics. Keep knocking on the door.
Very good analogy.
Come on. They're right there. Everybody's like, oh, they're talented enough, but they can't never get it done. But I feel like Josh Allen just needs one little break or one little just lucky fumble or one lucky interception that goes his way, and he will take advantage of the situation. So I'm going with Josh Allen raising that trophy.
Love that
trophy. So. That's how I break it down. But it is an interesting year because this is
NFC is interesting. It's just who's
way more interesting than the AFC. I think there's more probabilities in the AFC where it's like the top. Like for instance, I know, and this is not my pick, but if Joe Burrow got back to the Super Bowl, it would be like wow. But it wouldn't be shocking because Joe Burrow's that good. There's too many quarterbacks that are good where it's like, oh, they could carry their team. Starting with the NFC, obviously the Eagles are just the pick because they return everybody. I know Landon Dickerson got hurt, but he's saying he's trying to play. I think he should take maybe 4 or 5 games off just to maybe, heal up a little bit longer because I think they would be fine because they're just going to replace another guy or put another guy in there and he's probably just going to match the energy. What Landon Dixon did, and he's going to be able to carry it out to where he can get to maybe week 5, week 6, and come back fully healthy for the playoff push or middle of the regular season push, whatever you want to call it. So they're the obvious pick, but man, I'm on the same wavelength with Green Bay. Man, I think one of the major reasons is Matt LaFleur. I think he's a hell of a head coach, and obviously too Jordan Love. I spoke about him earlier in the pod, like. It says something coming out that first year, him throwing those yards after, you're following the lore of Brett Favre way, way back, and then you're following the guy who followed him and Aaron Rodgers, and it's like that's not an easy task. So to me, that kind of screams like, yo, there's no moment that's going to be big for me, big enough to where I'm like, oh, I don't think I can rise in this moment. So I think there's a real possibility that he takes a huge leap. Again, I just talked about Matthew Golden. I think he's going to be the obvious receiver one. So if that happens, then I think, that division's not going to be easy. So they're going to be battle tested. And to your point, if they somehow sneak around and get home field advantage, that might just get to a point where you don't want to be going to Green Bay in January and it's the frozen tundra and like every time you fall, it's like you're falling on a sheet of ice. So, and they've been playing that the entire year. So I think there's a real possibility that Green Bay could get to the Super Bowl. I really do. And that's who I would pick. Of course, the Eagles, a lot of it's just going to be hunger. Like, do I think Jalen's satisfied? No, because I think he's kind of in his head, he probably is not going to say it out loud, but he's probably looking at himself as like, I think I'm a top tier quarterback. I know everybody else doesn't believe it, but I he's going to have that hunger of like, no, let me go back and get this back to back. He's going to be hungry. Yeah. Yep. With AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon, I don't know. Maybe I don't know these guys, but I don't know if they maybe match that. The defensive guys, maybe Jalen Carter because he's a different D tackle, but yeah, he's just built a little different. But I'm kind of looking at. I want to see. It's kind of like when I talk about the NBA. I just want to maybe see something fresh, something new. And I think Jordan Love shows the temperament of, and I keep speaking about Love and LaFleur, but Green Bay as a whole, they draft well. Their offensive line is going to be top 10. Defensive line is going to be probably top 15, top 5 scoring defense. I know they lost Jair. He's my guy. But, I mean, Green Bay just replaced this guy because they draft well. So that's why Jair can just go. They're not going to pay Jair what he wants or whatever because guess what? They just drafted another guy in front of him, or behind him. So they do that very well at Green Bay. So
And Josh Jacobs. No one's mentioned him.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs, too. He's another guy. Great year last year. And if Jordan Love takes a step, he's going to have an even better year. So, yeah, I just think Green Bay kind of has everything that you want in a championship type of team. And let's just say if, I don't know, I don't want to pick on a head coach, but if it was another head coach that's kind of just like, okay, then I wouldn't be as high. But I think LaFleur, he kind of, in his head too, was like, look, I'm McConnell, I'm McVay. McVay's out there in L.A. He gets a lot of pub. He got Matt Stafford, but I'm in little old Green Bay. And nobody talks about me. But yeah, and a Super Bowl for sure. But I think he's going to be motivated to do well. So I got the NFC with Green Bay, even though it's going to look foolish if the Eagles get it, but whatever. AFC is I literally went back and forth because
that's so hard.
I know I just said about Mahomes, like, oh well, like he be bullshitting through the regular season and he turned on the playoffs. And I'm the first one to admit it or you don't want to admit it, but he has that boogeyman type of presence with a lot of these guys. Not a lot of guys, all the guys really, except for Joe. And I even think in Patrick's head, he thinks about like, he just got one on me. Like that's a one-off. Like that's not like it'd be different if Joe just kept dominating them. Then it's like you got to give it up. But I think even in Mahomes' head, he's thinking like, man, Joe ain't really. He just got me that one time. That's it. So I think he's just got this boogeyman presence where it is a real thing. Like with Josh, with Lamar, with Joe, even though Joe broke through, but he still got the boogeyman presence. I do think it's a little bit of somebody's got to break through, and I'm of the belief that two things happen. Like if one of those guys in Josh, Joe, or whatever, Lamar, they break through and then they win, it's not a Jordan situation. I love Mahomes, but I don't think it's like, well, no, it's just like nobody's ever going to eat. It's too many, and this is not speaking to like Jordan's era, but it's just saying there's too many Pantheon great Hall of Fame first ballot quarterbacks to just be like, none of them are going to get to the Super Bowl. Just none of them going to get past them. They just going to keep losing to Mahomes. I just don't think that's what's going to happen. So like if you have a Super Bowl pick, I feel like of any of those guys, it's like okay, that's relevant. For me, I look at it as, and I was going back and doing like the history because we kind of all know the history of Josh and Mahomes because it's just kind of like they keep meeting and Mahomes is usually at home and I don't know, did Mahomes ever beat him on the road? I don't know
yes, the year where he won the Super Bowl.
The Travis Kelce.
Like,
I couldn't remember that game. It was I guess Travis Kelce won
the Gabe Davis game.
Okay. Oh yeah. So I was trying to go back to remember like when he went on the road because I remember that was a narrative with Mahomes for a little bit. Is like he doesn't go on the road and win. Yeah, he kind of figured that out. But I was thinking about like that, trilogy, fourth matchup, whatever, and I was like, that's probably a good possibility. But then I was going back and I was thinking about the Ravens, and I was literally thinking about the last 2 years. Like when Mahomes went up to Travis Kelce was going crazy that game, I think, but and people remember it, but I remember just being like, what in the hell? Like when Zay Flowers had that touchback and they couldn't cut the lead to 3, that was massive. Like that is an altering. You can't make that play.
Mm-hmm.
Like that change. You fumbling that ball changes the narrative massively. That's not just like a play that happened. That cost the game because the momentum, if they score there, cuts to the 3. Now Mahomes has got to get it back, and obviously Mahomes probably goes down the field and still scores. But it's still, what if he just gets 3? Then it's only a 6-point lead. Lamar is different, and the Ravens were at home, so it's kind of like that was a huge play. Then you go into the next year. It's like, I agree. Lamar did not play well in that first half. Awful. Then that second half, people forget. Yeah, Mahomes, or not Mahomes, but Mark Andrews dropped that touchdown or 2-point conversion, whatever, in the corner end zone. He also fumbled when Lamar was cooking in the middle of the field, and everybody's just like, oh, well, that's just football. No. Like, think about what you did there. You had 2 massive, like, Mahomes has never had a player do something like that to him in the playoffs. Josh Allen has never had a player do that, like have 2 critical plays, like 3 critical plays in the crunch time. That's never happened to them, ever. So, like, when you think about the football gods, it's like, it kind of almost feels like the Ravens are due. And also, I think there is a little bit of I know we get caught up in Josh and Mahomes, like, because they've met the most, but I think there's a burning desire with Lamar is like, I want to catch Mahomes too, because Mahomes, like, I think he's kind of got a little bit of like, of course, Mahomes, it's the narrative of Mahomes and Josh, and like now that Josh has the MVP, he kind of has a leg to stand on with that too. But I also think too, like Lamar, he looks at not Lamar, but what am I talking about? Patrick. I think he looks at Lamar like, I think that dude. Just as we're talking, I know Josh won the MVP, but that dude should have 3 MVPs. Like he a little different. And I think it would probably satisfy him more if he's able to get Lamar, because I know Josh, the narrative, they just met so much. But I do think that it's a little bit of I want the Chiefs and Ravens, that could be a thing, because I do think, and this is just me, I think if it's obviously not a freaking snowstorm and his players are not dropping the ball in the middle of the field and then dropping passes, I think there's a real possibility the Ravens could make a run. And I know at some point, it goes back to the point I just made a couple minutes ago. Like, somebody's got to break through.
Yep.
Like, I'm not arguing if you say Josh gets it. Like, if Josh and Patrick meet again, I do think Josh beats him, because it's just he's due.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's law of averages. Too great. Joe's already done it. And Lamar, I do feel like in this season, like, you got to also think you got Derrick Henry. I think he's still top tier back. We'll see what we get from Hop. Y'all know how I feel about Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews is going to be a really, really good case study, because he's either going to come out and be second team All-Pro or whatever team All-Pro, or he's just going to tank it. And it's going to have to rely on Isaiah Likely to step up. Like, who knows? You know how I feel about Jair. Nate Wiggins is a super underrated corner. I think he's really, really good. Kyle Hamilton, Roquan Smith. Defense is going to still be there, and they're still going to do what they're going to do.
Always.
But I just kind of feel like this is more of a football gods pick of, like, you can't have that many heartbreaking moments. And I know people want to talk about Josh Allen loss and it wasn't a first down, but it's like, that was just that was a bad spot, obviously. But it's like, if you're a Ravens fan, dude, like, again, Mark Andrews just fumbles in the middle of the field while they're driving when Lamar starts cooking. Then you get a shot. Like, I don't know how Mahomes and Josh would respond if that happened to them consecutively, because it's never happened. It just like the guys who are great, it just don't happen to. So it's like, it feels like they're due on that. So I think there's a chance this year they break through. And I also think too, a lot of this hinges on Derrick Henry too. Like, Lamar is also great, but if they're experimenting during the season and Lamar doesn't get the stats, but they're establishing Derrick Henry, I'd way rather see that. So hopefully, I think that's a process of, like, play like Josh Allen would. Like, he relied on James Cook. Derrick Henry needs to get the ball 32 times off his line, needs to block it, and Lamar throws for 198 yards, rushes a touchdown, and throws one. So I think they meet.
Yeah.
Where it gets tricky in the Super Bowl is, I don't know what moment. Like, obviously, it would be Lamar. Like, it's the biggest moment for him. But I almost feel like Jordan Love, because it's such a big moment for Lamar, I think Jordan Love could sneak him, because it's like, everybody, think about that week. everybody's going to be talking about Lamar. It's nothing. I know it's Green Bay. Jordan Love will get on the podium and what is it, media day or whatever. He'll get to talk and have a joke or two, but that is it. Like nobody's going to be writing about Jordan Love. So it's like you want to talk about no pressure. It's kind of like Jalen Hurts in that first Super Bowl. Like all the pressure was on Mahomes, and what did Jalen Hurts go out to? Just ball. He just playing. He don't care. It's just whatever. Now the second one is different because a little bit more pressure, but I think that could be scary for me because I'm thinking like, I think Jordan Love could just go out there and play his game, but if I had to pick, I would just pick Lamar because I just have to. There's no way he just does not. If he gets to the Super Bowl stage, I think he would actually probably show out because, again, any of these guys, like even if Allen gets there or if Joe gets there again, there is no chance that there's no guarantee you're getting back. So you have to like go all out. So in that case, I would pick the Ravens, but man, I would not go to sleep well that night because I just feel like there's no pressure on the Packers and they would just ball. And it would be like, oh, it's 21-7 Packers in the second quarter. Like what? Because it's like everybody's not focused on them. So part of the reason why I'm picking this too is because it's just a lot of the, cliches of just, I know a lot of this is always just like the Chiefs are probably going to get there and maybe the Bills will, but I'm just trying to shake it up because it's like, I don't want to be cliche with Eagles. And because I also was thinking like, if I want to be really bold and be like, okay, Eagles get there, and then the Lions just don't care nothing about Ben Johnson and get there again because their talent's so good. But again, I don't. If they had Matt Stafford, I would just always pick the Lions.
Oh my God,
I probably would always just pick the Lions. Jesus Christ, the quarterback is just so dynamic. So I probably always just pick the Lions. But again, golf is just that. If golf would have got to the championship game, I would have had way more faith. But that showing against the Commanders was just that kind of did me, and I'm just like, I just can't believe it, even though they're super talented. So I don't know. I'm just trying to be,
I like it,
a little different, just a little different.
Maybe we all have the Packers in the NFC, at least the NFC championship.
See, I was surprised. I didn't think y'all were gonna have them, but yeah,
I think it's just because the NFC, the hobbled storylines and just some delusion out of I'm just talking about the Dallas Cowboys. So that's all I'll say. But
wouldn't that be hilarious, though? It is quite insane that it's been 30-something odd years. But this would, out of any year, because of all the chaos, because I think Michael probably going to get signed, they end up just sneaking in there. They just sneak in there. Javonte becomes a RB2 to RB1. Pickens and CD's unguardable. Like, yeah, it could just – because also, too, I don't think – has there ever been – when's the last time there's been a repeat winner in the NFC East? I think they had a stat on there or something like that.
I don't even remember.
I think there was like a stat on that. So I don't know, but obviously we'll see. I'm super excited. I kind of am in just talking about the Super Bowl. I kind of just want to fast forward to week 11.
Enjoy it, Sean. Enjoy it, man.
Fast forward and see where everybody's at and see what
we're got a little mock draft. You'll get back into the fantasy and then you'll be fine.
Yeah, fantasy is winding down. We only got a couple. Well, I know y'all don't, but I only got a couple more days. So
5 minutes, man.
Yeah. So go ahead. In this podcast promptly. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, Tyson Talks _, YouTube, Cruncher on Nose. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Download us, comment, do whatever you need to do to get us in the algorithms. And for me, Zoo and P. Bush, we are out.